From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the Kern County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy, and our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday 9 a.m. meeting of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. We will begin with a roll call.
Supervisor Peters?
Here.
Supervisor Parlier?
Here.
Supervisor Flores?
Here.
Supervisor Couch?
Here.
Supervisor Perez?
Here.
Thank you. Our next item, we will have the salute to the flag led by the sons and daughters of the American Revolution. Immediately following the salute to the flag, I ask that you please join me in a moment of silence in memory of the 8 crew members that lost their lives in the tragic B-52 crash from Edwards Air Force Base yesterday. Please stand.
Left face. Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Half shoulder, arm, right face, forward march, column left.
For our next item, I'd like to invite out the Director of Animal Services, Nick Cullen, to present our Pet of the Week.
Yeah.
Good morning, Nick. How's it going?
Good morning, Chairman Peters, members of the board. This is Taquito.
Taquito.
Taquito is a senior boy. He's about 10 years old, and he's got a little bit of a story. Pet ownership is expensive nowadays. Taquito's owner had to surrender Taquito at 10 years old, and Taquito has a brother. His brother's name is Paco, and they're both at the shelter. They were both surrendered by their owner, but they're available for adoption right now at the Kern County Animal Shelter.
Outstanding. Well, thanks for coming down, and wish you the best of luck, Taquito. Thanks, Nick. Next, excuse me, we'll consider the consent agenda. All items listed with a CA or C above the item are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. The CA represents the consent agenda for the Board of Supervisors. The C represents the consent agenda for the Kern Sanitation Authority and/or Ford City Taft Heights Sanitation District and/or IHSS Public Authority. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. If a member of the audience wishes to comment or ask questions regarding an item on the consent agenda, they may do so prior to a vote being taken. A member of the board may remove any item from the consent agenda, and it will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any members of the public to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. Members of the public may also comment on closed session items. The items on the consent agenda are 3 through 5, as well as item 8 on page 2. Items 9, as well as 11 through 15 on page 3. 16 through 24 on page 4. 25 through 32 on page 5. 33 through 34, as well as 36 through 40 on page 6. Items 41 through 47 on page 7. 48 through 55 on page 8, and item 56 on page 9. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak regarding the consent agenda? Please come down. Yeah, if you could just come to the podium, thank you.
Morning, Mr. Chairman and Board. I would ask that item 37 be pulled from the consent agenda for comment, unless I make that comment now.
Okay, yeah, if you have just some comments to share, this would be the time to make those.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, good morning, Mr. Chairman and Board, county officials, members of the public. My name is Mike Cruz. That's M-I-K-E, Cruz, C-R-U-Z. I'm the president of the Kern Law Enforcement Association, which represents the hardworking deputies across the great county of Kern, which we've been given the honor to protect and serve. I am deeply grateful for the work of your board and our county officials in many areas. However, it saddens and troubles me to have to be here today to address the request of terminating the ERP. It should be noted that after KLEA met with the county representatives, our legal counsel sent numerous case studies showing the cost savings to the county by having the ERP in place. Incredibly, despite a request for information, county officials could not provide us with a single document showing the cost savings or evidence to support the claim of good cause to terminate the ERP. After submitting these studies, we did not receive a reply from the county, nor did we receive any notification that the matter was being placed on the agenda until yesterday at 4:30 p.m., only after I inquired. Terminating the ERP is insulting to every hardworking deputy who faces the daily threat of being assaulted while serving Kern County in a time when assaults on law enforcement officers are at a 10-year high. I don't believe that this is the county's attitude towards law enforcement officers. Despite the claims of an improved system for our first responder partners at County Fire, I've had many conversations with their members who agree that the termination of the ERP was the worst decision to affect their membership in over a decade. Stated simply, the ERP returns deputies back to work and saves money. I would make a request to the board to have a thorough examination of the evidence presented prior to a decision to impose the termination of the agreement. There is no disagreement that the county can legally proceed. However, as a law enforcement officer, I am well familiar, despite possessing the legal authority for an action, it is still incumbent to assess the common sense logic of a decision. Mr. Chairman and Board, on behalf of my members I represent and the public we serve, I thank you for your time and attention and dedication to our county. God bless Kern County, and God bless the USA. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll turn to our county council. Is there a response you'd like to give, or would it be better if we just pull that item and we consider that later in the agenda?
I can give a response now. However, I think because I have other people here from my office, our county risk manager and our workers' compensation attorneys, it might be best to pull it and hear it in this sequence so that we have more time to listen to each of the individuals who are here.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Thank you. Supervisor Parlier?
That was going to be my suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other, thank you, sir. We'll,
No, sir,
we'll,
thank
we'll hear that after item 35.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that wish to speak on the consent agenda?
Item 33,
33.
proposed sole source agreement with the Center for Sexuality and Gender Diversity to provide outreach and supportive services. I'm all in favor of the support, maybe not so much for the outreach, so we could cut that number in half. I just don't think it's non-controversial, is what I'm saying.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that wish to speak?
Good morning, board members. I would ask that you keep this item on the agenda. As an advocate in this community for our youth, a lot of our youth that are struggling with sexuality issues, hormones, being a teen, school, they need help. Children who are experiencing, that are in the LGBTQ plus community have a higher suicide rate than any other youth. This is why these services are so crucial. I understand not everybody agrees on it, and we can agree to disagree. But when it comes to saving a child's life, that child's life matters, and that comes first.
Thank you. Any other members of the public like to speak on the consent agenda?
Yeah, I didn't see that item was on the agenda, but I'd also like to speak in favor of it. LGBTQ youth are 120% more likely to experience homelessness. And when we're talking about cost of living and affordability and how we have a homelessness crisis going across our county, outreach and services like these are the way that we fix those problems. So I just wanted to speak in support.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, could you state your name for the record, please?
Oh, yeah, sorry. My name's Carter Beardsley.
Any other members of the public that would like to speak on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board, and I'm going to ask that we remove items 37 and 33 so we can hear those in their listed sequence.
Okay, so move motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay, that takes us to item number 1 on the agenda, and that is proclaiming July 2026 as the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States of America and the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And that will be with Supervisor Flores.
Motion.
Second.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Sure, position then however you want. Or you can come behind me, it's fine, come on in, just fill it in, come on in. Yeah, 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 come on in. Hi Larry, how are you? Good morning, board and members of the public. You know, we do so many worthy proclamations throughout the year for various anniversaries, organizations, what have you. But, this one is truly special because it's the 250th anniversary of our founding fathers and our nation. And every July, every June, inevitably, this holiday is reduced to a discussion on whether or not we're going to ban safe and sane fireworks. So this is a much better discussion that we're all proud of. It's the 250th anniversary of America, also known as the semi-quincentennial, which is a historic milestone for reflecting our nation's founding promise of liberty and equality, of the greatest nation in political social experiment that history has ever known. Today's anniversary bridges America's broad democratic legacy and within Kern County's distinct local heritage, a powerhouse of agriculture, energy, and diverse community voices. Kern County embodies the hardworking, self-reliant American spirit that's celebrated here today. I'm joined here by the Sons of the American Revolution and the Daughters of the American Revolution, as well as the children of the America's Revolution. And I think we have all the representatives here. And I saw Sophia Kaufman, our daughter of our assessor, Jordan Kaufman. Thank you for being here. And these groups do so much throughout the year. You can see them at Memorial Day, Veterans Day, just most recently Flag Day at our local cemeteries at Green Lawn Southwest. We celebrated the Liberty Tree rededication just down the street on Truxtun Avenue. They answer the call. They celebrate our heritage, our nation's patriots. These are our modern day patriots that give homage to our great nation. And so thank you for all that you do throughout the year. And on behalf of our Board of Supervisors, I'd like to present this proclamation dated this day and designating July 2026, the commemoration of the 250th anniversary and founding of the United States of America and signing of the Declaration of Independence, signed by our Honorable Chairman, Philip Peters, dated this day, June 16th. It's official board proclamation to Bruce Werda. Would you accept this on behalf of the Sons of the American Revolution? And thank you for that beautiful flag salute with all the pomp and circumstance. It was really, really special.
Thank you.
And
Our pleasure.
Thank you. And you want to say a few words? And also, can you tell us about the different types of, there's the blue, there's the green, there's the militia, there's the brown, maybe a few tidbits?
I didn't realize I was going to give a history lesson, so we'll try to make this brief and also concise. But to begin the first question, because you rattled off a few, all of the organizations here, the Sons, the Daughters, and then all of the children, we can prove lineage to somebody back at the Revolutionary War time. They may or may not have actually fought in the war. For instance, if you're a descendant of John Hancock or Samuel Adams, they didn't really fight, but they did have a positive influence on the Revolutionary War from the colonial side. So everybody here can prove their lineage. And the Sons of the American Revolution, and when I say that, I'm going to kind of use that collectively to bring in the daughters and the children as well, have an actual 10-year celebration for this 250th. Obviously, the 250 is the signing of the Declaration, but we started a couple years ago in 2023, what correlates to 1773 with the Boston Tea Party. Then last year in 75 was the battles of Lexington and Concord. Next year we're going to highlight Saratoga fight. There will be Battle of Yorktown in 31, and then the signing of the Treaty of Paris, which actually ended the Revolutionary War in 33. So we have a decade of celebration, but of course the big one is the one of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which is this July. And I think I answered maybe most of the questions except the uniforms. So what I'm wearing is a colonial infantry, what you would call the soldiers of the Army. We have a Marine hiding somewhere, there he is, in the green. Make a hole so everybody can see the green. So that would be what your Marines looked like. You would have somebody who's more like a mercantile, which would be this outfit. Oh yes. So what you're thinking of, like Daniel Boone and the militia, we have a militia outfit here as well. And then the women are wearing what would be typical of the colonial women at that time. I believe I answered most of those questions appropriately. Thank you. Oh, of course. Not to forget anybody, but we have a drummer. She is not a redcoat, so don't think we have somebody from Britain here. The drummers actually wore opposite colors so that they could stand out, and because the drummers and the flags kind of led the way, you'd have to know where they were, and also they supposedly got a get out of jail free card and you weren't supposed to shoot them. If you're wearing blue, you got shot, that's off limits. Did I miss anything else? Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you all for being here. That's it's fantastic and very exciting about the decade of celebrations. I think this is a great opportunity for people to engage and learn a little bit more. I'm a huge fan of the history from that era. I watch a channel on YouTube, actually, some of you might be familiar with, called Townsend's, where they discuss a lot of everything from the recipes to living conditions back then. So it's very, very awesome service that you guys provide to our community, and thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Chairman, what's the name?
It's called Townsend's. It's a fascinating channel. I'll have to send it to you.
Thanks.
Do you want them behind the podium? Can some of you guys? Yes. Oh, one more.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Any chance we can get a copy of that? Or get a issue copy of it?
Okay. This brings us to our next item, number 2, which will be proclaiming June 22nd through the 26th, 2026 as National Boys and Girls Club Week in Kern County, and recognizing the Boys and Girls Club's 60th anniversary of serving children in Kern County, and that will be led by Supervisor Perez.
Thank you, Chair. Motion on proclamation?
Second.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Everybody, come on down. Big smiles, too. I love it. Come on down. Get over here so people at home can see you. Squeeze in. Good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. That was really incredible, Chair, to take a moment and acknowledge 250 years. We are so privileged to be in the position that we are at this moment in history, and to see, in particular, the presentation of a time and place that we so often forget. That was the origins, the foundation of this nation. David McCullough writes about this time in American spirit, which is an incredible rendition, very user-friendly, about this period of history. And I remember distinctly something he says about the Declaration of Independence, that at the time it was written, within the colonies, 1/3 were for it, 1/3 were against it, and the other third was just waiting to see who won. And you think about the reality of the courage of our founding fathers and what was presented here today, the kind of valor and virtue that is presented in the Declaration of Independence, and giving us a moment such as this here. It is truly, truly stunning. David McCullough says in The American Spirit that nothing phony will last. Nothing phony will last. And I think it's an incredible testament to who we are, the American spirit, and what we represent. This organization, the Boys and Girls Club, are a stunning personification of the American spirit. That they have done this for half a century and counting really speaks to a kind of devotion to community, to love, to living out one's own expression of their own faith very often is really a beautiful, beautiful thing, and it is an honor of mine to present to them this morning. And to my Honorable Chairman Peterson and colleagues, it is my great pleasure to make this presentation, recognizing the amazing work of one of our most distinguished organizations, Boys and Girls Club of Kern County, as they celebrate 60 years of service in our community. There are 75 Boys and Girls Clubs spread throughout Kern County. 75. Absolutely extraordinary. There are locations in Arvin, Bakersfield, Fraser Park, Gorman, Lamont, Kernville, McFarland, Lake Isabella, Lebec, Wasco, and Tehachapi, all serving more than 17,600 young people, our future, annually in partnership with 14 school districts. Each of these locations are centers that help promote character, leadership growth, education, career development, health and life skills, arts and sports, fitness and recreation for our children most in need of direction. Nationally, the Boys and Girls Club serve nearly 4 million children annually across our great nation. Every day in communities, children head to the club after school, where they spend time with friends, get help with their schoolwork, learn valuable life skills like conflict management, as my own son has learned in his Boys and Girls Club, healthy conflict management, and connect with caring adult staff, mentors, and volunteers. It's priceless. I would like to thank all the outstanding staff, mentors, volunteers, board members who have helped grow the Boys and Girls Club over the last 60 years to become the shining light in our community that it is today, pillar of East Bakersfield. Thank you for your dedication to uplifting our boys and girls to become the best versions of themselves, and for giving them hope for a better tomorrow, for showing them the American spirit in deed and act, in hope and opportunity. God bless you. Thank you. This proclamation is presented to you this June 22nd through 2026 as National Boys and Girls Club Week in Kern County. And this recognition has been entered into the board minutes, signed by our Honorable Chair, Philip Peters, and presented to the righteous souls of the Boys and Girls Club. I appreciate you so much. I would love to hear your heart on the matter.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you once again for having us this year. And it is an exciting year, our 60th anniversary. Supervisor Perez did beat me to a lot of the stats, but a couple things that I'd just like to share. We do also provide more than 1 million meals to families and children each year. You know, there is some food insecurity in parts of Bakersfield, and that's just something that we hope to help with. On top of that, we do have an incredible performing arts team called Music Fusion, where children who are involved in that program get a chance to get in front of our community and perform and really pursue that direction in their life as well. We have a partnership with Stars Theater downtown, and so if you have a chance to catch any of those shows this summer, I think they have three. Ooh, she's getting good. But aside from those exciting things, we do also obviously help children with their homework and those like basic needs like STEM, and our main focus here is art, though. It's something that does get ignored sometimes in the school system. I don't want to say ignored, but there are some important things that they have to learn while they're in school. So we try to kind of round out our children and give them the opportunity to grow in directions that maybe they're not presented to on an average school day. One direction that we do hope to continue pursuing is with our career advancement program. We do work with teens in the area, especially, our Youth of the Year, who you'll hear from really quickly. But just able to kind of get our bearings with these teenagers in town that don't have anywhere to go after school, that might get into some trouble if they don't find something that kind of entices them. So our career launch program is incredible. We have teenagers who get hands-on working and paid opportunities throughout the summer. And right now, our company is hosting our 4th year of our own intern. And our staff, we have a staff of 25. They find it an incredible opportunity for them to actually give back to someone in our community too, to teach them about real estate and things like that. So we're so happy to be able to share, what we're good at here in Bakersfield with the youth of Kern County and hopefully produce some of the next leaders. So I just want to quickly introduce Shayra Castillo. She's with South High School and she is our Youth of the Year of this year. So.
Good morning. My name is Shayra Castillo, and I am 16 years old, and I have been a part of the Boys and Girls Club for over 2 years now. And today, marking the 60th year anniversary, looking back on those 60 years, they've been able to help youth all over the world, giving them the chance to have a place to be when, even if home might not be the best place, or even at school, staying after school with nothing to do. Because for me, the Boys and Girls Club have given me a place to go to. And one of the programs that they are in charge of that have really impacted me was the Workforce Readiness Program, which gave me the opportunity to really learn about what I can do in the future and how those skills that they taught me, how they can improve the way that other youth along with me to really get out there and improve themselves in ways that you might not learn at a young age. And especially once you completed those, you were able to get skills that saved a life, CPR, AED certifications, and even food handlers to prepare you for going to work. And being a part of all of this, it's really given me it's given me the chance to really look upon everything, looking back, saying that the Boys and Girls Club really has helped youth, and it's helped me. Thank you.
Very impressive.
I got to ask where you learned to be such a good public speaker. Did you learn that as well down there?
There's no notes either.
That's very impressive.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Nice job. Keep up the good work. Thank you for everything. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, this will take us into item number 6, which is public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter that is not on this agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed, ask questions for clarification, make referral to staff for factual information, or request staff report back to the board. Also, board members may take action to direct staff to place matters of business on future agendas. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. We ask that you please state and spell your name before making your presentation. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Mercy Pena, and I will be speaking regarding the Supreme Court docket regarding mail ballots. 14 states accepted mail ballots that arrived after Election Day. The Supreme Court will rule if it's allowed. The Republican National Committee and the Trump administration pointed to federal law, which defines that the election takes place the Tuesday after the first Monday in November. They say that means that all mail ballots must be in hand by the time polls close. The Supreme Court's consideration comes as California recent primary took days for enough ballots to be counted to project runoff winners. The justice decision should still land in time to impact whether the late arriving ballots will continue to be counted in November. Challengers, including the Republican National Committee, argue Mississippi's ballot deadline is preempted by a federal law that sets the Tuesday after the first Monday in November as election for federal offices. The extended deadline and other administrative requirements mean it takes days or weeks to finalize the tallies of any given election, a process that the state officials argue is slowly further by the sheer volume of the incoming ballots. An estimated 1.6 million mail-in ballots for the June 2nd primary had yet to be processed by the county's election officials as of Monday, according to the California Secretary of State office. The longer the period over the elections conducted, the greater the opportunity for and risk of fraud, lawyers for the Citizens United and others wrote in February's amicus brief. The Supreme Court is set to decide as soon as this week whether states can accept mail-in ballots that arrived after Election Day in a case that could invalidate the so-called grace period in places like California. The decision will come after enormous attention was paid across the country to the results of both the California governor's contest and the battle for mayor of Los Angeles. In California, the coming Supreme Court decision could likely have no bearing on those races because they are state and local and not federal contests. But it could have consequences on the U.S. House races in the fall. Thank you.
Thank you.
Charles sends his regards. Andy Hensel, Hensel. Headline, bombshell lawsuit exposes 873,000 ghost voters in California. The complaint filed through conservative voting watchdog organization Judicial Watch claimed that Shirley Weber is in violation of federal law that requires most inactive registrations to be removed after 2 federal elections. Judicial Watch's federal lawsuit confirms that California has a dirty voting rolls crisis with thousands of old names on the rolls going back at least 10 years. So says Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton. He goes on, dirty voting rolls can mean dirty elections. California and its counties must take immediate steps to clean up over 870,000 dirty names. Now, you might be confused because we were told by our very own RV that if a registration is inactive, then it's no longer in play. So how could it be a problem? Could it be that there's still a potential for fraud? Federal law would say yes. As votes continue to be counted in this year's primary races, a fresh lawsuit against California's Secretary of State is calling into question as whether or not thousands of those votes were and still are unqualified to vote. Would that mean that certification is now an issue? Orange County Supervisor Don Wagner, the Republican candidate for Secretary of State, joined the American Independent Party of California in suing incumbent Secretary of State Shirley Weber, alleging that 873,092 inactive voter registrations are still on the rolls. The lawsuit also alleges that the state took no effective action to required to fix the issue. I suggest we hire an RV that will take preemptive action.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Russell Person, Person. Currently, over 23 million Californians are registered to vote. Back in 2019, Judicial Watch settled with the state of California and Los Angeles County to remove more than 1.2 million names from the voter rolls. The lawsuit seeks to force the state to stop further violations and require a new voter roll maintenance program to remove ineligible voters. Since then, the organization claimed 20 counties across the state have only removed 50 or fewer inactive voters, despite census data showing hundreds of thousands of residents leaving California. A major lawsuit against California election officials claims that approximately 873,000 inactive voter registrations remain on California's voter rolls, despite federal laws requiring inactive registrations be removed after multiple federal election cycles. We contend that these so-called ghost voters can be misused if someone attempts to request a ballot, cast a vote, or otherwise exploit an outdated registration. We argue that maintaining accurate voter rolls is an important safeguard against such risks and helps strengthen public confidence in elections.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the board and staff. My name is Don Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R. I've lived in Bakersfield for over 30 years. Typically prepare a statement to read. Today I'm winging it, so if I fumble on my words, please know it's from my heart. In that 30 years, I voted at the same place, the same polling place, and this time I had to go vote at a super center where although there was only 2 or 3 people inside voting, the parking lot was completely full of election workers and school staff, and the parking in the street was full because it's a neighborhood with apartments and duplexes. And this was at an unbusy time. I can't imagine what it'll be like in the general election during a busy time. There are many individuals in our society that are constantly clamoring for change. We see the results of that change in San Francisco, Portland, Chicago, Minneapolis. Now they're changing our election system. The worst of that is obviously mail-in voting. Just here in our election office, they've began implementing electric poll books, which is not a move towards fair elections. The tabulation machines require 30 to 40 temp employees to flatten out the ballots so that they will go through the tabulating machines. That is not efficient. I'm just really concerned and disappointed, and I hope the board will take active measures in the hiring of the new registrar of voters and not just rely on a recommendation from the HR department, but actually look into it for yourselves, look into that individual for yourselves, and make a right choice. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to share some information, I think yesterday the county shared some information just asking the public for input on what they would like to see or qualifications or any other input they would like to share for that role. Is that correct?
Supervisor Peters, that's correct. The ROV position closes, I believe the first week of July. We'll look and see how many applicants we received. But that is going to be on, if it's not already on, our website in order to get feedback from the public. And we would appreciate that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Hopefully that's helpful. Next speaker, please.
I come bearing gifts. Okay, good morning. We're from the Tehachapi Mountain Dog Fanciers. This is our secretary, Barbara Allen, and I am the president, Terry Kahn. We are presenting to the board copies of Nathan Winograd's book, No Kill Companion. We have one dedicated copy for each district and one for animal services, which I'll give to Nick tomorrow. Nathan Winograd established the first no-kill community in Tompkins County, New York. He did it again in San Francisco. Mr. Winograd has lectured at Cornell University and UCLA. He has spoken at venues around the world, and he spoke here in Bakersfield about 12 years ago. I got to meet him. His impact on animal sheltering is unparalleled. Nick Cullen has implemented many of his no-kill protocols. For a time, Mr. Winograd thought, as many do, that the best way to achieve no-kill includes mandatory spay-neuter. But experience and the data changed his mind, such as when a mandatory spay-neuter law was passed by the city of Los Angeles, impounds and killings in shelters dramatically increased for the first time in a decade. Veterinarians increased their fees in response to having a captive market, and low-income families bore the brunt of the tragedy because they could not afford the surgery. We ask that each supervisor's office and animal services read why mandatory spay-neuter should not be done to Kern County. Thank you. and each one of those books is dedicated to one district. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sorry. All right, good morning. My name is Rosa Lopez, and I've been a long-term resident of Kern County. I am here today because it's time we brought back the public back into the public budget process. As you decide how to allocate our tax dollars, you remember that this budget is more than a financial document. The decisions you make about how to spend our tax dollars impact every resident in this county. Yet, too many community members are left out of this process. We want to understand where our tax dollars are going, how funding decisions are being made, and how we can meaningfully participate before final budget allocations are made. We are asking you to create more opportunities for public engagement and ensure that community voices help shape current spending priorities. Communities are stronger when people participate in the process. I also ask that you review the CAO's budget recommendation for this fiscal year. The uncertainty regarding federal and state policy challenges has direct impact on our local residents, but from what I can understand from the proposed recommendation from last month, critical departments will lose or keep vacant 123 positions to save $16.5 million, yet the sheriff and coroner's office will receive millions in increase. How does this make sense? Year after year, you excuse this budget in the name of public safety, but more police in our neighborhood does not equate to public safety. I urge you to invest in the services and programs that strengthen public safety by addressing the root cause of many challenges our communities face, like affordable housing, healthcare, mental health care, youth development program, community development projects that attract community-centered and environmentally sound business. I'm asking you to allocate sufficient funding to the Public Health Department so they have the resources to inspect the immigration detention centers in our backyards, and start with California City. For years, we have seen police receive significant share of a public resource while many community service programs remain underfunded. A balanced budget should reflect the full range of community needs, not just enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning, everyone. Nora Zaragoza Yanez. I echo what my colleague Rosa Lopez mentioned, and it's regarding reallocating much-needed funding for the Kern County Public Health Department so that way they can inspect the 4 detention centers here in Kern County. There's ongoing reports of unsafe and inhumane conditions inside of immigration detention centers, including lack of medical care, unsanitary conditions, overcrowding, and infectious disease concerns. And this is why facilities like California City and other Kern County sites have faced allegations of inadequate health care, poor sanitation, contaminated water, and dangerous living conditions, while recent state reports documented worsening conditions and deaths in ICE custody. And I would also like to add allegations of women, specifically in California City, being pressured into taking abortion pills if they are in fact pregnant. Kern County's authority to inspect involuntary detention centers, facilities for health, safety, environmental, and labor violations, regardless of whether they operate under federal immigration contracts. Our hope is that the health department is able to conduct these inspections and issue penalties, even if it includes suspended permits when the facilities fail to protect human health and safety. And at its core, we want to make sure that Kern County recognizes that no corporation or detention operator should be above California's public health and safety laws. Kern County's detention center conditions make it clear that stronger oversight, accountability, and enforcement are urgently needed to protect dignity and lives of detained community members. And I really hope that this lives rent-free in your mind, because this is what community members that are coming out of detention centers are being handed. So I hope that whenever you guys go grocery shopping, that whenever you see sacks of potatoes or sacks of oranges, that lives rent-free in your mind, and you are able to do your due diligence.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. My name is Anna, first name A-N-A, last name Medel, M-E-D-E-L. Seeing as the budget hearing is next week, I'd like to begin by expressing my displeasure in how much funding has been allocated to the Kern County Sheriff's Office, while so many other departments are severely underfunded. But the main topic of my speech today comes on the heels of a recent grand jury report around bilingual and bookmobile services within the Kern County Library. Seeing as I was the bookmobile supervisor during its relaunch in 2025, and I brought up these specific concerns to my administration, I now find myself in front of you all reaffirming what I know to be true. The library's lack of financial support leaves administration to make decisions that hinder the public from equitable access to its resources. That's not just specific to the bookmobile. Bakersfield has a majority Hispanic community, so why is it that Beale Memorial, the largest library branch in this county in central Bakersfield, only has maybe a couple of paid and certified bilingual staff members? And that's not to say that staff members are not stepping up to do the work. I know multiple staff members who are teaching themselves the language out of their own motivation for supporting the communities that they serve. Should pathways between the county, BC, and CSUB be created to help certify county employees? I know several individuals who would jump at that chance. But without a proper understanding of how these indecisions to certify bilingual staff members come about, and frankly, without such public focus on the issues, not much really changes. As y'all begin to review the details for next year's budget, I urge you to really consider the optics around these issues and whether or not your indecisions to better financially support the library has led us to where we are now. I'd also like to end just by stating that my request number 3322 on the My Kern app remains open over a year later. Pioneer Drive doesn't need hand patching of the roads. The hundreds of students that traverse that area every day deserve new and well-maintained infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning, Board. My name is Damian Bautista. I come here on behalf of the Dolores Huerta Foundation. We believe that it's important we set up a budget that reflects the people we serve and the future we want to build. As someone who has spent the last several years working and organizing communities throughout the Central Valley, working with students, immigrant families, and residents who often feel unheard, I firsthand have seen the challenges in which people face every day. I've also seen the incredible impact that community programs, public services, and local investments can have on individuals and their families. Do these priorities really reflect the importance of our communities? The county has proposed an additional $2 million for the Sheriff's Office and another $2.2 million for the Sheriff's General Services. Despite that, the public protection already has been receiving 60% of the discretionary funding, exceeding $345 million of the budget. Meanwhile, libraries, parks, behavioral programs, environmental health services, and other community sources continue to receive a minimum of those investments. Public safety matters. Public safety is more than just policing. Safety is more than being able to access mental health services, someone who is struggling. Safety means having libraries where everyone in the community can learn and grow. Safety is investing in our parks, youth programs, public health, services that help families thrive before the crises are needed. We often talk about responding to those problems after they have already happened, instead of investing in those solutions that can prevent them. As an organization dedicated to community empowerment, we want to see a budget that reflects a community to healthy communities, strong families, and a better future for the next generation. I urge that this board please reflect on this budget that represents our communities that will strive for better generations. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. My name is Jeannie Parent, P-A-R-E-N-T. I'm with the organization Quasi, and we assist immigrants who are in detention. As a result, I'm in constant communication with folks that are detained at California City, and I'm just gonna kind of lay out a few things that people have told me recently when I visited them or when they've called me. So first of all, one woman said she had rats in her cell. This is why we need the public health department to do an immediate investigation of this facility. Rats in her cell, eating her commissary food that she had spent the money we sent her to buy. She had to throw out all her food. Detained individuals only get hot water in the morning, though hot water is shut off at 10 a.m. Also, chronic medical neglect. People have hernias that are not attended to. They have diabetes. They're not given medication for their diabetes, hypertension, anemia. I visited a man who has anemia. That can be very serious in a man. Where's the public health department? Unsafe conditions. The yard has very little shade. They put several units out on the yard at one time. It's 115 degrees, and there's no shade. People are passing out. They're not given water until they've passed out. So there's also when it rained, it flooded. And so what were they told to do? Mop it up with towels. So for these violations of human decency, it is a shame that we are treating our fellow humans in this way. And it's high time that Kern County do something and send the public health department out there to take care of people that you all are in charge of. Thank you.
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Danny Rodela, and I'm a District 2 resident and lead community organizer with Faith in the Valley. I'm here today because I care about health and safety here in our community. I urge you to use your authority under California Senate Bill 1132 to ensure independent public health inspections at local immigration detention centers. I know Kern County is facing tough times. We're staring down a $14 million deficit. Our public health budget has been slashed by 25%. We've lost over $10 million in federal CDC grants, and over 20 vital health positions have been eliminated. Real people, real families affected just to keep the doors open. Ignoring what happens inside these detention centers won't save us money, though. It could cost us more in the long run. When private prison corporations cut corners on health and safety to maximize their profits, they create public health risk for all of us. An outbreak inside those walls can quickly spread beyond the facility into our grocery stores, churches, and schools. We're all connected. If there's an outbreak, due to lack of oversight, our hospitals will have to cover emergency care costs Kern County taxpayers can't afford. SB 1132 empowers you to take action on this health and safety issue. You can order inspection, pass an ordinance, set a regulatory compliance fee, and make sure the private companies running these detention centers, not us, not our neighbors, not taxpayers, pay for these inspections. Don't let outside corporations put our health and safety at risk and leave us with the bill. Please protect Kern County health and safety. All people are sacred. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. My name is Nicole Stevenson Melendez. I'm here to echo what's already been said about the county budget, policing, and public health, and more specifically in the immigration detention centers. But more importantly, I'm here to read a statement made by another local resident who couldn't unfortunately be here today. She asked that I speak on her behalf. So bear with me, I apologize. Good evening, Board of Supervisors, or good morning. My name is Belen Carrasco, and although I could not attend today's meeting in person, I wanted to be sure to share with you my thoughts as a concerned citizen, a middle school teacher with BCSD, a mother of 4, and an advocate for basic human rights. I was appalled to examine the way that our county makes its budgetary allotments, and I'm here to implore you to take action to bring the kind of changes we need to see take shape in this county. People are dying, people are being mistreated and denied medical treatment and mental health access. Inmates in our local detention centers conduct hunger strikes to get our attention that we are behaving like monsters. We need investigations now. and that will only happen if you fund the public health department. As a public school teacher, my middle schoolers are at the age where they pay attention to what's happening on the news and in our local communities. They are building their identities, and don't think for 1 minute that the issues of immigration, deportations, ICE raids, police brutality, and protests don't come up in daily conversations in the classroom. Many students are directly impacted, and they want to know what is happening, especially to their own family members. How do we continue to teach hope when our country is a chaotic circus run by clowns and our county budget reflects the same? We don't need more money to go into law enforcement. We need for people to stay alive and to be given the chance to receive due process and rights guaranteed to them, made possible by the investigations that need to take place by funding the public health department. We don't need to embolden systems of incarceration to build a militancy among our communities.
Ma'am, can you please bring your comments to a close? We're over the time limit.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm at the end. We need humanity, understanding, restoration, and community. Do the right thing and fund public health department now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, Paul Infesti, District 3. Since we're now in the business of reporting on lawsuits over elections throughout the whole country, I thought I'd stick with one in the state of California. On Friday, California Attorney General Rob Bonta and Secretary of State Shirley Weber filed a lawsuit seeking to strike down Shasta County's Measure B, which would illegally overhaul the county's election system and undermine state election law protections. Among other things, it would require voters to present government-issued photo identification, register to vote, and vote in person, eliminates vote by mail and most early voting options, mandates the hand counting of ballots, and creates a separate county voter registration system disconnected from the state's uniform system. I think this should be a word of caution for people who are really excited about Measure A in our county, thinking that now all of a sudden, if we're a charter county, we could just make up any old rules on everything, including our elections, but that is patently false. I would also suggest that a good question to add to the interview process for the new registrar of voters would be, do you believe that the elections in 2020 in Kern County were fraudulent and illegally cast? Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Ellen Schaffhauser. I was here a number of weeks ago speaking about the same thing. I'm part of Valley Watch Network, and through the work of Valley Watch Network volunteers, 10 to 20 people are being released from local detention centers every day, and they are helped by us. Transportation, medical care, and contact with their families once they're released. Without this support, many would be left in downtown Bakersfield with no money, no food, no phone, and no way to get home. Sometimes they're released with their phone, but many times they're not. And so they have no way to get home, and we help them. And they're released in downtown Bakersfield, which if they don't get any kind of help, and we're volunteering and we get various monies donated, where are they going to go? Are the businesses going to be affected by this? By people wandering around that have no place that they can go? So since January 1st, more than 500 people have reportedly been released from Kern County detention facilities with nothing but the clothes on their back. The majority of the cases of release are because ICE illegally detained a people who are legally in this country. Now let that sink in for a moment. These people were in many cases abducted, taken far from their home, kept in deplorable health conditions, as you've heard, and then released into the street with barely the clothes on their back and no way to get home. That's what our country, through ICE, is doing to people who are legally here in the United States. They would be wandering on the streets in our community, particularly if it weren't for Valley Watch Network. So please consider that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Abigail Rodela, District 2. So good morning. As we all can hear and see that there's quite a lot of frustration right now in our community regarding the current conditions of the detention centers here in Kern County. Mind you, it's not just about California City. In District 2, District 4 and 5, we have detention centers. And so detention centers such as Mesa Verde, which is 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes from this place, and 2 in McFarland, Golden State Annex, and Central Valley Annex. This is why we as community-based organizations are here. Community-based organizations help bridge the gap of communication between community members and people like you. Your job isn't easy, and so we work with community. We speak directly with those who are closest to the source of pain and suffering to be able to come to you all and stand side by side with community members and share their concerns. Faith in the Valley was here a month ago to request a meeting specifically with Chris Parlier, Leticia Perez, and David Couch, with each of you or with anyone from your staff to be able to discuss specific voter concerns. We've talked to over 300 voters here in the county who have thoughts and who have specific feelings about what's currently going on in these detention centers that are under these districts. And so just here to say that we're just following up on that, and we're going to continue to be in touch to be able to have a conversation. I believe dialogue is very important. Dialogue, it helps to increase understanding. And, I hope that we can come and reason together in the coming weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Perez?
I have a quick question for you. Did you reach anybody in my office? If so, who did you speak with?
So we emailed each of your guys' office, well, you three specifically.
Okay.
And I made a couple of phone calls. I think I spoke, there's a lot of different people I spoke to. I think Priscilla or someone, I'm probably confusing the names.
Okay.
But they said that they would get back to us around Tuesday or Wednesday. So we'll be stopping by the office.
Very good. It's moving along. Thank you.
Robbie Kumar with No Camps, California. On Wednesday, June 3rd, a federal judge ordered the Otay Mesa Detention Center to allow San Diego County health inspectors access to the 1,400-bed facility, siding with local officials over the federal government in an ongoing legal feud to exercise their health, safety, and welfare remit under state law 1132, which people have brought up earlier today. San Diego sued the Department of Homeland Security in March after 2 county supervisors and a health inspector were not given full access to the core civic-run facility. Judge James Simmons of the Southern District of California said that the county was likely to succeed in its lawsuit, and he ordered the inspection to be completed within 2 weeks. Right, that's 2 weeks, and the lawsuit was initiated in March, right? So we're talking about a 3-month time frame. Now I want to, and this is an important fact right here. San Diego County Counsel Damon Brown said the county is responsible for the safety and health of anyone who is within this jurisdiction, which includes those detained in the facility. Now I'm going to draw your attention to an article from October 2nd, 2025, when Geo Group sued the state plus Kern County to try to overturn SB 1132, right? So at that time, your attorney and your health inspector, so Jeremy McNutt, who's the Kern County attorney, said County Health Officer Christopher Lyon does not want to use the new law to inspect Mesa Verde and Golden State Annex's facilities in his county. McNutt said Lyon would inspect the facility if the government ordered him to, but otherwise he has no intention of inspecting the facility whatsoever. If he's not ordered to do it, then he has no intention of doing it. doesn't really care to have the right to do it or not.
Sir, could you please bring your comments to a close?
We don't believe he has a duty to inspect the facility. This is a failure of this board to oversee the health inspections of those facilities. This is not about budget. This is a failure of duty.
Can I ask you a question, sir? The lawsuit that you were bringing up, did that allow the county any enforcement action in San Diego, or was that just allowing them to inspect the facility?
It allows them to act under 1132.
So inspect the facility, but not
Correct.
enforce anything?
Well,
And that's the
there's
bigger
another-
issue that I've been trying to bring up multiple times as we've had this conversation. There's issues of preemption that prevent counties from doing what are federal and state.
That's not what the judge said.
Sir, that's why I was asking for clarification.
That's
So
not what the judge
Okay,
said.
and inspection is one thing, but having any ability to enforce any conditions is an entirely different issue. When the county doesn't have regulatory authority over federal or state facilities.
How do they not have regulatory authority when the judge is saying that the county has the right to inspect?
Correct.
Right? And
And
we've
s-
got another law on the book that's
Okay.
in process of being passed that does have enforcement authorization as well.
Perfect. Well, if you just let me finish, and maybe that new law that's going through would change things on that. But as it stands right now, being able to inspect is not the same thing as being able to enforce under the law.
Right.
And, excuse me, let me finish. So we can have that separate conversation, but I'm not trying to be argumentative here with you. I'm trying to give you a path forward and suggest engaging with the federal government, engaging with the state government, engaging with your senator, congressman, and trying to go that route excuse me, sir, this is my time to talk. I'm trying to offer you a path forward. I am telling you right now, and I would be happy to ask our county council to share a little bit more light on that. But I'm just trying to make sure that your efforts are not being wasted and you're going in the right direction. So, thank you. Sure, Supervisor Perez.
I don't want to interrupt you, Mr. Kumar. Were you going to respond to our chair?
Yes.
Please do.
So the judge in San Diego said the county has the right to inspect. They were refused access. Your attorney said they don't even want the ability to inspect.
I understand that.
Right?
I understand that, sir, and.
They say they have no
Excuse me, what one employee of the county says does not necessarily represent the belief or the direction of the county as a whole. That's a separate issue.
I mean,
So,
he's still
excuse me, sir,
working for you.
excuse me, thank you. So, the board can shift directions or request things of the staff 100%. So that is one employee's opinion. So what I'm trying to say is, well, excuse me, it looks like our county council's buzzing in right now. I'll give her a chance to respond. Thank you.
I just wanted to comment, if I may, on the GEO lawsuit and the quotation from Jeremy McNutt. That was a point-in-time argument, and that occurred at the very beginning when the law first passed, and they weren't even sure they were still trying to determine what the law meant and what their authority was. And that was Jeremy's comments, not Dr. Lyons, indicating that at that point in time, he didn't say those words, but that was a point-in-time argument, that at that time, there was no intent on the health department going in. A lot has happened since then, but I wanted to make clear that that was a point-in-time argument, and it was early on in this process.
Thank you for clarifying. Did you have a question, Supervisor
Thank you so
Perez?
much, Chair. Mr. Kumar, thank you for being here. Thank you for shedding light on these issues, helping us work through them. It's been profoundly confusing on our end, I assure you that, and this is helpful. And of course, to hear from the public is so meaningful. Is it your understanding that case that you're referencing out of San Diego, I understand it says you have the right. Is it your understanding that it imposes a duty to inspect by county officials? And if so, through what methodology? Because if I could just say, in San Diego, the politics are very different than Kern County. Let's just keep it real. You have more than one supervisor there passionately caring about this subject. And so you have sort of political movement, if you will, like any body, like any elected body has its own body politic, right? I don't believe the same politics are here. And I don't know, I have to hear from my colleagues, and this is an issue we're going to continue to flesh out. So I don't know if we have the same political makeup here, and I'm one of 5 persons, and and my colleagues have the right to feel politically the way that they would like to. But the question is, do you believe that it imposes a duty to inspect, which is different than the right to inspect?
So I don't think a federal court can impose a duty on the state to inspect.
Okay.
Right? It's the state that's trying to exercise its enforcement authority. And CoreCivic went to federal court in a preemptive measure, right? Because they're saying they're covered under federal law. And the federal courts are saying, no, this does not prevent county health inspectors from accessing the facility, and you must allow them access, right? I think when you talk about politics, health, safety, and welfare should not have a political element, right?
A lot of things shouldn't happen.
There's nothing that should be political about health, safety, and welfare. And if you want to know what the feeling of your county is, you've got all these people coming here speaking on a work day, right, at 9 in the morning.
Understood.
So
Mr. Kumar.
the quote that where McNutt is quoting Lyons is saying he doesn't want the authority, he's not going to use the authority. That's damning, right? That is damning. When you are the health inspector of the county.
That is so unfortunate and so disturbing. This is the first I've heard of it. I want you to know that that has never been my opinion, nor do I understand that to be the position of the county. So thank you. We're going to flesh that out and get to the bottom of it. Thank you for pointing that out. I was unaware of that. I just want you to know that.
I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. Next
Thank you.
speaker, please.
Thanks, Chair.
Excuse me, we don't clap or boo or cheer or any of that in here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michelle Arkin. I'm also with No Camps, California, and I took the time to drive here today because of the authority and the reach, the way, the impact of the choices that are made by this here board. And so I feel it's important for me to take the time to speak because I've had the privilege of working with a lot of people who have been detained in California City and the families who have been impacted by them. First and foremost, Masuma Khan, who has now become a dear friend. But I advocated and worked hard for her release when she was wrongly detained, and I have heard firsthand from her the experiences that she had while she was there, which were hugely traumatic and very much so threatened the well-being and her life because of medications that were not provided, wrong medications that were provided, nowhere to sleep, absolutely uninhabitable conditions of that place. That was reported long ago, so much so that we now have a new bill, SB 995, that is being heard yet again on the Health Committee floor, I think, as we speak. But it has passed every committee, it passed the Senate floor unanimously, bipartisan support. So if we're going to use politics as something that speaks to how and where we treat the human beings that reside within your county and therefore are your responsibility, I have a very difficult time with that comment. It is inhumane for us to allow politics to determine whether or not the people who are under your care are being treated humanely, with dignity, that they're getting the food and clean water and things that should be provided to any single human being. I have been speaking in Cal City. I convinced Mayor Hawkins even to come do a visit with me last week so he could meet a man who is currently detained and see with his own eyes that he is so in need of medical care that is being ignored that it's going to take his life if they don't do more. I urge you to please insist on inspections and to provide reporting so that there can be public transparency and we can trust the people who are in leadership here. Thank you.
Supervisor Perez.
You know, my apologies for using the word political. I did not mean blue and red. I meant the political makeup of the board. In San Diego, you have two supervisors pushing aggressively for an end, a policy end. Mm-hmm. I don't even know their political makeup in terms of party registration. I don't know that you have that on this board. Right. I will do everything in my power. I've been to Mesa Verde. I do everything in my power to try to move this along. But based on the political makeup of this board, you're going to have a certain outcome per the thoughts, beliefs, and ideology of people who have been elected to represent their district duly. 3 up here whose elections are over. Right. And so that's all I mean by that, is that people feel very differently and very passionately about this subject on the opposite end of where these community members are. They're all members of the community, and they're all important. I simply meant to suggest you have a different political makeup by the body. I didn't mean red or blue. Forgive me for not being clear about that.
That's okay. I
Thank you.
understand.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Alexandra Barron, and I live in Los Angeles. And for the last year, I've been driving up to California City to try to figure out how I can stop all of my friends and neighbors and my son's mom's friends and their parents from being illegally captured and held. And then I realized that it's kind of like a chain of command situation, and that you guys, you haven't had the pleasure of meeting me yet, but don't worry, because I will keep coming back here. So now that I've realized that you guys have the power and are the ones that can make better things happen for the people I care about, I'm gonna let you know, full force, I believe in you. I believe in political appointments. I believe in people who care about their community. I don't care what side of the fence we're on. All I wanna know is that we're gonna get health inspectors in, that we're gonna allocate a budget that makes sense. We all live in this community. God knows that if it was you on the other side of that freaking wall, I would be fighting for your rights. I would be out here saying, hey, what's up? My community members are in there. They don't have food. They don't have water. They can't talk to their children. So with the passion that I bring to this, I want you to know that I do hold a lot of respect for you, but that respect will degrade if you guys don't make some serious actionable items happen. I really respect that you said that you've been into Mesa Verde or Otay Mesa. Really, I just would like to see that there is movement and some real path forward. I get that there is a lot of stuff in the way. But if you have been given a way to be able to get money allocated so that health inspectors can go in, you were saying that it's not about enforcement. Let's get eyeballs in there. We're all very common sense-based, intelligent people in this room. There's no need to beg. We all want to do what's right, even if we have different ideas about what that is. But I'm going to tell you, if you want the community's respect, you're going to have to do things that earn it. We all belong to this state. We're all Californians. Whether I am inside or outside of a box, I'm a Californian. Whether somebody is inside or outside a detention center, they are living here in Kern County, and you have a duty to them. And I am so proud of the fact that you guys are going to rise to that duty. I know I'm not looking at a bunch of losers. I see winners here, and I want you to be successful. Part of that success is going to be listening and working with people. You have to do something about this. I look forward to working with you ongoingly. Now that I know where your chambers are, I will be showing up. Again, my name is Alexandra Barron. I'd like to hold you guys all accountable
Could you
to the
please
duties
bring your
that you have
comments
done.
to a close? Thank you.
Yeah, all done. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. My name is Magdalena Lopez. I am a resident. I live literally here down the street. As you've already heard everybody else speak on the detention centers, I'd like to also bring to a point that you guys, including this morning's ceremony, seem very pro-America, right? Very pro-military, soldiers, veterans, what have you. So why are we not getting that money allocated from the sheriff's budget to support our veterans? As a veteran myself, it's kind of embarrassing to parade people up here and not actually support their needs, mental health, all of that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning, Carter Beardsley. I came up with something that I was going to speak on prepared, but I'm struggling with this idea that we need to reach out to our federal and state elected officials. We have our county elected officials, and the nature of federalism is that our county government can work with our federal government in situations like this. And you're right, SB 1132 does not mandate that the county have some sort of oversight and regulation of the detention facilities. But the spirit of the law is to go based off of the annual health inspections that are conducted in county jails and public detention facilities. And so the responsibility and the burden then falls onto our county government to work with our federal and state government to make sure that these are habitable and humane conditions for the people who are there. It should be a point of pride for Kern County to be able to go in and at least at the very bare minimum say that you're doing everything that you can to make sure that people are being treated well. And right now, you just heard all of these stories of people who are suffering at the hands of these detention facilities, and the county has an opportunity to do something. If the county can't go in and actually do regulation of any kind, the county can go in and inspect and submit a letter on your constituents' behalf to the federal government to do something. But something has to be done, and this idea that the county has no authority and has no ability to do anything, I think that that's wrong. The county can do something. And I'll say the quiet part out loud, the President of the United States, this has been a really big priority for the President. And the fact of the matter is, in 2.5 years, the President is going to be out of office and the Trump administration is going to be behind us. And the legacy of the board members sitting at this dais today is going to extend beyond that. And I think it would be a real shame for people when history catches up to us and asks us, what happened when there were people dying at the hands of these detention facilities? What did you do? And I think that it would be a shame if we had to look back and say Kern County stayed silent when we could have done something. We have 3 private detention facilities in Kern County. We have 3, and we have an opportunity to go in at the very bare minimum say that they deserve to be treated humanely. That's our 8th Amendment right, is no cruel and unusual punishment. If people are in these facilities, at the very bare minimum, why can't the county go in, inspect it? And if there is inhumane conditions and it is not right, why can the county not submit something to our federal government, to our Congress members, to our state, on our behalf and say, do something about it?
Okay, thank you. Go to our CAO.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to provide some information because your board did give a direction back in October of 2025. A lot of these same speakers were coming and presenting some of these concerns to your board. Your board directed staff, both county council and CAO, to issue letters to the oversight authorities at the federal level, which was done. We have a letter dated November 18th, and then we provided that on the agenda just for public information. And additionally, the county council issued a similar type information to the state attorney general's office. So just wanted to make sure that your board knew that that was done at your behest.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to bring some of that up as well. And again, I know there's a lot of passion out there, but I'm just trying to make sure that it's being placed in the right direction right now. The idea that because the community thinks we should feel one way or another about it doesn't change the laws about preemption and what the county can and can't do. The county has reached out to all the oversight agencies, and we continue moving forward. So thank you. Welcome to our next speaker.
Yes, my name is Lon Tran. I'm from Texas, but I was in the detention center, 3 of them. They sent me here to California City. I've been here 11 months. I just got out this morning. What the people say are very, very true about the facility, that we do need health care. Then they have a lot of mental patients where they're put in with the population, where they get into fights with the people that just got out of prison that have had to go to the detention center. And then they lock us down all the time, and they don't give us no medical treatment. Excuse me. And I just want you guys to know that we need your help to investigate and help these mental people in there to find the medical attention they need. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I'm Eddie Lane with Kwesi, EDDYLAINE. Let's be clear. We have asked that you visit individuals in detention. Talk with them individually. The legalisms, okay, they're there, but come with us. We've asked you to come with us. Hear the stories. Hilario, I visited him. He was the last one I visited. He said, we're being treated worse than animals. Come with me and visit Hilario. He showed me on his belly button a hernia that's hurting all the time. No treatment. His cell, he has epilepsy. He passes out. No treatment. The guy next to us who's being visited, who we know, he's going blind because he's not having cataracts removed. Cataracts can be removed, and they're not being removed. Come with us and visit. Come with us and visit. I visited Tule Lake. Tule Lake's in Wayne, Northern California, where they had the Japanese internment camps. And I saw in the museum there the housing that they had back there, that's 80 years ago, a little trailer type place where they were. They put that trailer in the museum. And along with it was the apology that Ronald Reagan made 40 years later for what was going on. 40 years from now, there will be an apology by whoever's the president. And I predict that there will be a proclamation at this board apologizing for the complicity that's going on right now.
Next speaker, please.
Good evening, board. It feels like a long day. We are all children of God. The people that are in this hall right here and the thousands of people literally that are in our detention centers. We have more detention centers in Kern County than anywhere else in California. You will hear story after story of the terrible things that are going on. One I know about, thousands, I could probably tell almost, young man was transferred over on diabetes, had diabetes, no medicine, went into a coma, had to be transferred to Tehachapi, almost died. I know of suicide attempts that have taken place in the last couple months. Are we our brother's keeper? I could have a line of hundreds of people to tell the story that you just heard this morning from a person that came out of California City. The second part is that these are people that are following the law to report to the court. They're picked up, brought to Florida, Texas, Arizona, then here to California. People don't even know where they're at. There's no family to come to help to talk to them. They are literally released with that bag that you saw earlier, no money, and then a lot of people are trying to help to get them home. The government is spending millions and millions of dollars. These GEO and Core Civic are for profit. The amount of money that they have made in this last year, I think their percentage went up 700% this last year, the amount of money that they got from this. We need to do something for our brothers and sisters that are here and around this whole country. And I urge you to do anything you can. We don't put we have to continue to talk and to make sure that this changes. It is something that we're going to be dreadfully sorry that it ever happened in our history. Thank you for your time.
Sir, could you please state your name for the record?
Bob Coons. Thank you.
Good morning, Board. Nadine Escalante, Escalante. I came up here to talk about the budget, but since we're having this conversation about what's happening in the detention centers, I feel like it's very important to recognize my ancestors. I am a 7th descendant of Chief Pushamataha. He is the first recognized chief of the Choctaw Nation. As this county listens to community members talk about the inhumane treatment of people in 2026, I would like to remind you of what happened to my great-great-grandmother when she had to walk the Trail of Tears with my great-great-grandmother. No, second grade. My great-grandmother was a newborn. So each one of you, your descendants, will have to reap the benefits or the terrible atrocities that you've done in this country when you were held in a political position. I am grateful that I am a descendant of Chief Pushamataha, and I am running my life and raising my children to reflect the honor of what was taught in our culture. This is not okay to condone this kind of behavior, to neglect people. Life is sacred. In this white colonialistic country that we live in, we have forgotten the value of life. It is a given blessing. It is a miracle from God. And Peters, to turn away and act like you don't see me is just, again, showing the lack of respect to the community.
For the record,
I'm
I
talking.
haven't turned away.
As
Please
we
continue.
continue to have these conversations. Your professionalism speaks profoundly. And I'm making sure I'm pointing it out on TikTok to everybody because we need new replacements up here. Thank you. Have a good day.
I did roll my eyes, however, about the slander of race being brought into it. My family lives on the Choctaw Reservation, as a matter of fact, in Oklahoma. So thank you for that. Next speaker, please.
There was no slander of
speaker,
race.
please.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
sure if you have any Choctaw blood.
Next speaker, please.
Who are you related to?
Thank you.
Again,
Next
you're not
speaker.
related to my grandfather.
Next speaker.
Good morning. My name is Suzanne Langham, Langham. I'm not born in Bakersfield or Kern County, but I'm very proud to say that I'm from Bakersfield. I was transplanted here because my father, God bless his soul, was hired by Kern County Fire Department and, against my mother's wishes, moved us here in 1980. I'm the product of the public school system. I'm also a statistic in the fact that I was pregnant at 15 and I gave birth to my child and I raised him with the help of my family. My father stood up in front of a congregation and stepped down from his position in leadership because he said, I can see my family is in crisis and I'm going to put them first. My father was a Navy veteran. He was in Vietnam before we were in Vietnam, and he had stories to tell. He raised me to be a proud patriot. I was raised a Reagan-era Republican, but I became independent. And I learned that I'm not about a political party. I'm a humanist. I became a philosopher, something I never would have dreamt of, thanks to the public school system here in Bakersfield and Kern County. And I went on to teach college before I was 30 years old at Bakersfield College and then California State University, Bakersfield. I am uplifted and I'm proud to see how many people are here that care about humanity. And I would love to see each and every one of you set aside any political loyalties or leanings. I'm very encouraged at what I heard from Ms. Perez upon the prior speaker.
Could you please bring your comments to a close?
I'm sorry?
we're-
Oh,
we're-
I went over.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning, Dave Westcott, W-E-S-C-O-T-T, Marine Corps vet and local attorney. Kern County's general fund is almost 60% allocated to policing, litigation, and incarceration. We have a root cause problem, and we are throwing a ton of money at addressing the consequences of not dealing with that root cause problem. In a hypothetical, let's say that we have a daughter, and our daughter is acting out while we're trying to put her to sleep. She doesn't want to go to sleep. She's crying, she's throwing things, she's banging on the door, she's upset her baby sister, and she's really frustrating us. So what do? We bring her out, we yell at her, we physically discipline her, we put her back in her room, we close the door, we lock it because negative enforcement is what's supposed to work. Now what if instead we brought her out, we talk to her, we listen to her, we see what her problems are, we make sure her bedtime routine is more structured, maybe get her some therapy and so on. Our daughter is Kern County. This county does not need more discipline, it does not need more litigation, it does not need more incarceration. Imagine what our society here in Kern County would look like if our public protection budget was only 20% of the general fund, 30% to things like libraries, veterans resources, waste management, and 50% towards parks and rec, public transportation, workforce training, public health. We could be in a position to be offering low cost to free before school, after school, summer services to our Kern County families. That way our parents could go to work and our kids are busy learning and being active. Kern County is our daughter and she needs support and direction now. We are throwing a ton of money at punishing her instead of helping her out now before she gets older. We have and are continuing to set ourselves up to watch her recidivism rate be high and then continue to be surprised and confused that she has not stopped. Do you want to fix it and address the root cause problem, or do you want to continue the trend of disciplining her for the consequences that come from not addressing the root cause problem? And we will find out in a few weeks, won't we, supervisors?
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, Mike Ian from Mojave. Guillen. I asked Ms. Galantes if she can help read. I'll break halfway through.
Good morning, Supervisors. My name is Mike Guillen. I am here regarding a county abatement action. The county's sworn return restates that the nuisance was diligently and lawfully abated and the structures were boarded and secured. The return further states that the abatement was completed on Friday, June 30th. I will accept that statement for the purpose of today's comments. What I am asking the board to consider is the outcome. I was removed from my property. My cats remained inside the structure when it was boarded and secured. The county then exercised authority over the property through the warrant abatement process. The next business day, Monday, July 3rd, County Animal Services responded, documented 7 cats. The county's own record states 1 dead cat, 2 cats with broken legs, and 3 to 4 cats with eye injuries. I am not here to argue legal technicalities. I am here because of these are the consequences documented in the county's own records after the county took control of my property. My question is simple. If the abatement was diligent and lawfully done, how does the county explain the condition of these animals just days later? I respectfully ask the board to review these records and determine whether these documented outcomes are consistent with the standards of Kern County that Kern County expects of its departments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public speakers? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public presentation portion and move to board member announcements or reports. Are there any, Supervisor Perez?
Thank you. How should we respond to the public comment today around the public health inspection? I know that the conversation has been evolving for some time. There was a period where 2 of us supervisors were actually planning on going in. We had the date set, we were moving forward, and then it was abruptly changed. There was a change in the law, or the matter is incredibly rapidly evolving and very confusing, I assure you that. But can we give an answer to the public about how we can deal with this issue? It's not agendized, so we can't technically have a long conversation about it. Otherwise, we violate the Brown Act and the notice period that we needed to have to discuss something at length. So if somebody from staff could help me give some answer to the public about what we've heard this morning, I'd appreciate it. I'm not sure who that is.
I can give a little bit of information. I'm not sure if it's what you're looking for, but
Thank
I'm
you,
happy to
Counsel.
provide some information. Ms. Anderson, as Ms. Anderson stated, at the direction of your board, we did send letters out to both federal and state officials looking for some resolution after hearing the public's comments and concerns. One of the things we asked for in those letters were for an opinion on what public health's authority was, because from what we can tell, we have the authority to go, we have the ability to go in if they let us in, but we don't have any teeth or any regulatory authority. We never received a response from either of the many state or federal agencies. However, I can tell you that we have seen some movement in this area. In May, there was the AG's office did go in and inspect, and it was our request that that's what they do. We requested in our letter. So I don't know if they inspected on our because we requested, or if they were getting a request from lots of people, or they just saw this and went on their own. But they did file a report recently in May after they thoroughly inspected these facilities. And also I've seen, I believe it's the ACLU filed a lawsuit against the facilities. So things are moving in that direction, and in our opinion, it's moving in a direction by those who should be pushing it forward. Because we're still at the same, I mean, we are still in that same position where we don't know if the public health goes in, they can do an inspection, but that's it. I believe that's already been done by the AG's office at this point.
I'm sorry, the AG's office inspected our facilities in Kern County
Yes,
in May.
in May. The report was in May. I don't know when they went in, but they filed a pretty extensive report in May. In addition, I understand that there is some legislation out there that might change what the Public Health Department can do if they go in and inspect, but that's not happened yet, so we're waiting to see.
Okay. So what, apparently that our letters were not effective, which is not surprising. But what can we do, what does it come down to today? Do 3 supervisors have to direct the Public Health Department? Do we need to put this matter on for the future to be agendized? You know, I think we need to give some real answers to the public. That's what I'm looking for.
During public comment session, as you stated, we can't take action, but your board can make a referral to public health if that's what you choose to do, to either go out and inspect or bring it back to your board for further discussion. But that's really the extent of what you can do at this time.
Understood. Okay, I don't think it's appropriate to have this display of public comment today without giving some direction or something to the public. I don't know if any of my colleagues would care to weigh in and try to help me out here resolve an important issue. It doesn't mean we have to agree on anything, but do any of you have any ideas? Please? Anybody? Supervisor Flores, thank you.
So I think our letter did help if the Attorney General heeded, and the Attorney General of the state of California, who's got broad powers, police powers, that he went, his team went, Adam Schiff, Senator Schiff went, Senator Padilla went. They went, and so I didn't read the reports, but I think our letter may have been the impetus for that. So you may not be prepared to answer this, but what are the real effective entities? Is there 6 or 9 entities that have true jurisdiction over these facilities? I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I have a couple here, and I think Nancy has a list of others that she sent.
Supervisor Flores, through the chair, they are sent to the U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement Office of Civil Rights Compliance, the U.S. ICE Enforcement Office of Professional Responsibility, DHS Office of Inspector General, DHS Office of Immigration Detention Ombudsman, and Department Homeland Security Office of Civil Rights and Civil Liberties Compliance Board branch.
Okay, so that's 6, and I think there's some state entities as well.
Yeah, in addition, we sent a letter to the Department of Homeland Security, Office of the Attorney General in Washington, D.C., the Office of the Principal Legal Advisor, Los Angeles, which is the Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and Eric Grant, United States Attorney, Eastern District of California. So we also
So 10,
sent a letter to those individuals.
10 entities, not to mention Congress has a role too, so 11. So I think those are the thrust. Those have true jurisdiction. Those have teeth. It's like, well, I'm gonna be cliche, but it's like if I have a heart problem, instead of seeing the cardiologist, I'm going to the chiropractor who has nothing to do with it. The whole order here seems inverted. So those 10 are the spear. We're the back of the spear, not the tip of the spear. The Attorney General went out himself. I don't know what our code officers are going to do or public health officers are going to do that the Attorney General can't do himself. But I'm willing to help my colleague if she wants to do something and bring it back. I'm willing to entertain it and have a full discussion.
Jeff, that is so gracious. Thank you. I think that would be helpful because I don't see a satisfaction from the public that our answers or our actions are enough for a segment of the public. I am not suggesting that everybody feels this way or that my colleagues need to feel any kind of way. They have their own political methodologies, which I respect. But to me, this is compelling, it's profound. We were ready to go in and do this inspection. To me, this is a no-brainer. I don't know why we would be afraid to inspect this facility at our county. This is a little bit disturbing that we have every excuse under the sun about why we're not going in to a facility within our county when we, I think in good faith, believe that they're operating appropriately. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't been in there to inspect it myself. I did go into Mesa Verde, had a very respectable, decent time there. I did not see things that I was concerned about as I visited there, but I was not allowed into the facility, the area where people live and are actually housed. So I want to be responsive to the public. Jeff, thank you so much for your offer to at least bring this matter back so that the public health director can answer to the public. I don't know that we have all those answers here for you, and I'm very sorry for that. But if we could do that, I think it would be meaningful, helpful to the public. I would be happy to meet with any of you. I would be happy to respectfully attend a visit at any of these facilities and talk to people. I promise you, I would be thrilled to do that with you. We were going to do it before. We were told we couldn't. It's a very rapidly evolving and, as you know, politically very complicated matter. But I want to do my part, and I appreciate Jeff's willingness to support a referral to bring this back ASAP and get an answer, get a direct answer to the public. I think they deserve that, and it's our job. So thank you, Jeff. I'd make a referral to bring that back ASAP. To have it formally discussed, formally agendized. We can't do that, Mr. Coons. I'm so sorry. But if we could have that matter brought back and let's talk about it. And if that means some uncomfortable conversations, then I hope the public is ready for that, because not everybody agrees with you. Nobody agrees with me, I assure you that. So if I could make that referral at this time, I'd appreciate it. Chair, if that's okay.
Sure, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Jeff.
Can I add something to that?
Supervisor Couch.
If you're so inclined to make it part of the referral, that I don't know what the legal consequences are, and I know people are going to groan when I say that, but if you're concerned about the general fund, and I heard a lot of that, we ought to be concerned about the legal consequences of any action we take with regard to this. And I'm not opposed to the discussion. I just, and I don't even know that it's appropriate to have a discussion in closed session, but I wanted to raise the question. And specifically, how would I get there? I'll give you an idea.
If there's a concern over legal consequences, we could hold a closed session on potential exposure to litigation.
I'm also concerned about the potential for a state law, which may be in conflict with federal law, that would, as an agent of the state or a political subdivision of the state, the county might be on the wrong side of the federal government, of the federal law. Thank you.
So that's a closed session matter, and I think that's totally appropriate and consistent with what we do as a body to discuss. But my interest was having a public discussion, you know what I mean, Couch, so we can flesh it out. I would take that friendly amendment, yes.
Thank you. And I would agree with that. And I think that's, I'm sensing a lot of hostility in some of these comments, but that's kind of the heart of what I was getting to, is that, and that's what I want to understand in this discussion as we have it. If the county does an inspection, then what? Do we send a letter or a report to the state, the federal government, which we've done, which we
Great question.
haven't really gotten much response from? It may have, instigated that inspection from the state attorney general. I don't know, but is this a duplication of efforts? Is this created an additional liability for the county? What are the real implications of that? And also, maybe we could include in that a report from the county on this pending legislation and how that would impact the county's obligations.
If I could add to the public, I met with Supervisor Padilla's staff after they went into this facility here in town, and she was pretty upset about what they had seen. The senator apparently was pretty heartbroken, if you will. I don't know, I didn't talk to the senator about what he saw, but that was what was relayed to a group of us after the inspection that occurred here in town. And of course, we don't have clear direction legally on what we can or cannot do, but I wanted to share that in particular with my colleague Supervisor Flores, because you indicated that there had been inspections here by the senators, and I had direct contact with people who were there, and they seemed upset and disturbed. I don't know what they saw. I can't vouch for what they saw, but that to me was compelling and something for me to take seriously. Just for information. But thank you. I have that motion.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry,
We
Chair.
had a motion and a second. Please cast your votes. Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, seeing none, we will move to item number 10, and that's a certification of the results of the examination of the California Living Museum Zoo Improvement and Conservation Act.
Good morning. Good morning, Chairman
You could go.
Peter.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
The chair walked away and I forgot I was vice chair, so.
Okay.
Welcome and good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Vice Chair Perez and members of the board. I'm Laura Cantu, Assistant Registrar of Voters. The item before you is the certification of the initiative petition submitted to our office for the proposed ordinance for the California Living Museum Zoo Improvement and Conservation Act of 2026, Retail Transactions and Use Tax. Our office conducted an examination of the petition signatures and found the petition met the signature requirement and is sufficient. When a county initiative petition is found sufficient, California Elections Code Section 9118 says that a board has 3 options. Your board may, 1, adopt the ordinance, or 2, submit the ordinance to the voters at the November 2026 general election pursuant to California Elections Code 1405, or pursuant to California Elections Code Section 9111, refer the proposed initiative measure to a county agency for a report on any matters that your board requests to be in the report. So we recommend that your board take action on one of the 3 choices and that your board provide direction to appropriate staff. It is important to note that if your board chooses to call an election of the proposed initiative measure, the last day an election can be called is August 7th, 2026, which is 88 days before the November 2026 general election. Thank you.
What is the staff's recommendation at this time?
I would defer that to council. Our office is providing the certificate of the petition, and then just informing you that there are 3 options.
Okay, understood. I'm glad the chair's back.
What was the third option?
The third option is to refer the proposed initiative measure to a county agency for a report on any matters your board requests to be in that report.
Got it, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? I'll go to our county council actually real quick.
I just wanted to clarify, your board asked what the options were, and the option, what staff is asking at this point in time is just to make one of those recommendations. And it's your choice. Truthfully, option number 1 is not a real option at this point because this is a tax. So adopting the ordinance is not really a true option, although that is stated in the code section. It just doesn't work for this particular type of ordinance. So option number 2 and 3 are really what we're here to take direction from your board on.
Okay, understood. Thank you. Supervisor Couch.
Is there anything that any department has raised that we should ask for a report on before we vote to put it on the ballot?
Not to my knowledge.
You know of any?
I'm not aware of any.
Okay, thank you.
I had a question, just, so, this is a petition, not the, so this is a request, for us to put this on the ballot. It's not the correct, or the sufficient number of signatures to, put this on the ballot just through the citizens initiative, is that correct?
It's the certification of the petition, saying that the petition had enough signatures to move forward.
Okay.
So now it's either put it forward to the voters or request the report.
I understand.
But even if you request the report, it's gonna have to go to the voters after the report.
Okay.
It's really, do you want one step or two? And we've done this once before, to my knowledge. I'm sure it's happened many times, but to my knowledge, we did this with the term limits. That came to your board in a similar fashion, and your board requested a report. We came back and reported, and then you sent it to the voters after that.
Understood. Thank you for clarifying. Supervisor Flores?
Thank you. And then how many signatures were gathered total?
I believe it was over 30,000. I don't, let me see, I have the certificate here. Yes, it was about 32,870 signatures.
Thank you. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that's, given the fact that they were in the field and they did all the work and 30,000 signatures were gathered, to meet the election deadlines for the fall, that we just allow the people of Kern County to decide in the general election and move forward with option 2, unless our board wants to have a report.
Thank you, Supervisor. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay.
Did you make a
none-
motion, Jeff?
Yes.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. We'll go to public comment right now. And yeah, are there any members of the public that would like to speak on this item? Okay, not seeing any. I'll right back to the board. We have a motion and a second. Can you please cast your votes?
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question about that?
Sure, Supervisor Couch.
Just for the public's benefit, what is the threshold that needs to be met in the election for this to be implemented? Is it 50% plus one? Is it 2/3? What is it now? There's a 55%? What is required?
I believe it's 50 plus 1, but I'm not positive.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this brings us to item number 33, proposed sole source agreement with the Center for Sexuality and Gender Diversity to provide outreach and supportive services to the LGBTQ plus community. I believe Director of Kern Behavioral Health Resources here.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. I'm Allison Burrows, the Director for the Behavioral Health Department, and I'm pleased to provide you additional information about this agreement. Under the Behavioral Health Services Act, we are required as a county to outreach and engage underserved populations. And through our stakeholder process, the LGBTQ plus population was identified as a high-risk, underserved group in our community that are experiencing significant barriers to behavioral health treatment. High rates of suicide, homelessness, anxiety, depression. So driven through that stakeholder feedback, we have identified this as an ongoing area of focus for our department, which is why that agreement is coming forward to your board today.
Okay, thank you. The public speaker that asked for this to be removed, I don't see here anymore. I think he took off already. So just hopefully this will get him some more information, but you said that this was recommended through the stakeholder process. Could you maybe just explain for the benefit of the public a little bit how that process works, who serves on it, how people can engage with it?
Absolutely. So our department has ongoing stakeholder engagement. We provide at least 2 in-person and virtual stakeholder engagement opportunities. We advertise those at our website, kernbhrs.org, also on social media. Any member of the public is welcome to attend those. There are some voting processes that happen at those stakeholder meetings, and we discuss with stakeholders various topics and areas of interest to drive some of the service delivery.
Understood. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the board before we get public comment? Okay. Thank you. Seeing none, are there any members of the public that would like to speak on this item?
Hello, my name is Don Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R. I would sincerely hope that any funds for this project would be targeted towards helping those in need, by all means, but in no means should it be used to promote or to encourage other individuals to gravitate towards that particular lifestyle, if I might say. Nothing against people that are in that lifestyle. And absolutely anybody that's experiencing mental hardship or any kind of physical difficulty should be cared for, but in no way should public funds be used to promote that lifestyle. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Yeah, I don't think in any way, shape, or form that reaching out to those who are suicidal, people that are having tremendous emotional problems over coming out or whatever, should be considered promoting something. It's about offering services for anyone that may need them, and the ones that need special help if they're part of the LGBT community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Yeah, I guess I'd just like to start by stating that I think the center does amazing work with supporting the queer community here in Kern County by providing so many resources that I would have done anything for when I was in high school and figuring out my own sexuality and my own gender identity. And so I would very much hope that the board continues with moving this item forward as is written in the current agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that would like to speak? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Supervisor Perez.
Thank you for the speakers today. I appreciate your heart and your care and concern for this community, all of you. Thank you. I'll move staff's recommendation.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion, a second, and I'll just say I think I understand your concerns. You're more concerned with making sure that funds meant for medical or clinical purposes aren't being used for social purposes, and I think that's direction that we could possibly provide to the department, or encourage anybody with an interest in helping decide the future of behavioral health to engage in that stakeholder process and share their perspectives as well. So we have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay, thank you. That takes us to item number 35. That is a presentation on public participation guidelines for Board of Supervisors meetings due to implementation of Senate Bill 707 amendments to the Ralph M. Brown Act. And for that, we'll be hearing from our clerk of the board, Julie Gregg. And I'm going to continue to drag this out for a few more minutes while she gets settled in.
Announcement while
Sure.
we're waiting.
Supervisor Perez.
I'm in the middle of jury duty right now. I don't think any jury or attorney would allow me to stay on their jury in Kern County, but I do have to go through the process and do my duty, like all of us here in Kern County. So I'm in the middle of that now. I may be called back this afternoon, so I do want the public to be informed that if I'm missing, it's because I'm doing my duty, like everyone else. We do not get a pass, any of us up here on jury duty, just so you know. So just an FYI.
Thank you, Supervisor. Okay, I will turn it over to our clerk of the board, Julie Grimes.
All right, good morning, Chairman and Supervisors. Today's presentation is just a brief overview for the public participation changes that will go into effect at your July 14th, 2026 board meeting due to the implementation of SB 707, which becomes effective July 1st. In order to provide equitable participation for all speakers, which is the basis for SB 707 and why we have to, we're doing remote participation, we will ask all speakers wishing to address the board to register before the meeting through our new public input website and portal, which will be available before that meeting. For both in-person and remote speakers, we'll have the public portal available to them. It'll be open all the time so they can see the meetings that are coming up. If they are participating in person, however, we will have kiosks available for them to be able to register. We will also have QR codes located in the chambers to make it really easy for them to just scan their phone, enter their name, and enter the queue to speak. My staff will be present in chambers and available to not only those in person, but also they'll be up in my office available to remote callers to help assist during this process. We know that this is a change for everybody and we want to make sure that it's as seamless as possible and everybody gets the help that they need. Speaker registration will open 30 minutes before the start of the meeting, just like our doors open 30 minutes before the start of the meeting. Registered speakers will be placed in a speaker queue, which I will have access to and my staff will have access to, and they'll be called during the meeting in the order of their registration time. So a first come, first served basis. Having all the speakers register will not only ensure equitable participation for those in chambers and remotely, but it will also help to facilitate the business of the county in a timely and productive manner. Lastly, the speaker limits that were approved with the revised administrative and procedural rules for the proceedings of the Board of Supervisors will begin to apply with that meeting. The times are split equally between in-person and remote speakers. Just to remind you guys, 40 minutes for public presentation and 20 minutes for agenda items. These speaker limits on public comment, again, may be waived by the chair or your board at any time. And if you have any questions?
Okay, thank you. I know this is going to be something new that all the counties are dealing with, so I just commend you and your team for taking the initial effort to try and figure out a good way to implement it, and
thank you.
We'll see how it goes. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, not seeing any. Members of the public that would like to speak, please come down to the podium.
Yes, Don Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R. Just for clarification, if someone present decides to just spontaneously come up and remark on something that they just heard, does that mean that that will be restricted?
In those instances, we would defer to the chair, or if they decided that they wanted to speak, my staff would be here to help them register.
Well, that seems like it would be very disruptive to the flow. If I stood up because I wanted to just spontaneously comment on something I just heard, then I need to go through some kind of a registration process before I can speak to the board, and then what, the board is on hold until I do that?
So these are new requirements that we're going to have to try and figure out how to move forward with. A lot of municipalities already work like that. The city of Bakersfield, I think, has always worked like that. Some of my colleagues might correct me, but I just spoke at their board meeting recently, at the council meeting, and I had to fill out a card on the exact specific topic I wanted to speak on. So I would say just be patient, because we're figuring this out as well. Again, these are new state requirements, and so we're going to be dealing with it on a case-by-case basis and trying to revise the process and improve it as we go forward.
Yeah, that's reasonable, and I've done that at Board of Trustees meetings just recently, having to fill out a card to speak. But like I said, it's irrespective of that, I'm referring to like spontaneous comments. So I guess, yeah, we'll have to see how that goes, but I would like to voice my opposition to that should there be a restriction on the ability to spontaneously respond. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I think I have a little bit of a similar question, more so with kind of regards with what's happening today with like 2 of the consent agenda items being pulled and now we're speaking on them. Would we also be required then to register for those kinds of comments?
I think that there would be an opportunity for, I mean, we'll have cards available, so I think that you would maybe just fill out a card and then, just like anybody, before they come up and speak, they can hand paperwork or other, important material to the clerk of the board's office, and they could probably do so at that time.
Okay.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, we won't have cards available, but we will have staff here. Registering to speak is a fairly easy process. It's scanning a QR code and entering your name.
Okay.
It's not hard. When we pull those items off consent, obviously, like you see, there's time to register to speak on them before they come up for public comment.
Right, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I just want to say that I'm actually kind of liking this because I'm used to this at virtually every school board and the city council meetings where you have to register to fill out. It's on a card, it's not on this fancy new equipment that I'll have to struggle through because sometimes I have a problem. Okay, I heard that. I really appreciate that. I want to say that it'll cut down a lot of the confusion we have sometimes had in the past. I know one of the public concerns was were people from out of state going to be able to cut in and speak, and maybe this will be covered by that. I do remember 3.5 years ago when we had a speaker from New Mexico, a professor that came in and hogged up the microphone for a total of 6 minutes. I was called by the chair at the time very politely. He recognized me as the next speaker to come up and speak at the microphone. And interestingly, one would still come up and say, I'm turning my time over to the professor to continue speaking. Interestingly, I went back and rewatched the video today, and the person that did that was exactly the same person that was concerned about someone from another state coming up and hogging up the microphone. Oh well, that was in the past. I think maybe they learned from it. I hope they did. Anyway, the only other question I had, will you still be able to sign up at the last moment on your cell phone and not have to go back to use the, okay, thanks. My stabilizer is broken on my cell phone camera lens, so it's shaking so much it cannot pick up a good signal on that QR code. So that's something to keep in mind for people that are a little challenged electronically. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. I think my dad's probably the last person in Kern County that doesn't have a smartphone, so hopefully he's the only troublemaker it'll impact. Okay, that's right. Yeah, any other members of the public that would like to come and speak? Okay, not seeing any. I'll bring it back to the board. Supervisor Parley.
Thank you, Chairman. So Julie, when I was vice mayor in Bakersfield, and I know it's older technology now when you're talking about the QR code, but we had duplicates. One went to the clerk, went to the mayor and or vice mayor, had the name and topic. So with the QR code will allow for the name and the topic. Would that populate on the screen?
Supervisor Parlier through the chair. So the way that this works, they're in a speaker queue. It's a separate web-based program that me and my staff are going to see. It won't populate on your guys' screens, but we will know who's coming up and be able to call them forward, and they will definitely be on whatever item number we're on in the agenda.
Great, thanks.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, not seeing any. Thank you. Okay, so that's just to hear the presentation. I don't think there's any action needed on that, so we will move to item 37 now under County Council, Council, which was the request for retroactive authorization to terminate the Labor Management Workers' Compensation Expedited Resolution Process Agreement. And for that, I will turn it over to our County Council, Kendra Graham.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, members of the board. This letter requests your board's retroactive approval to terminate the Labor Management Workers' Compensation Expedited Resolution Process. I'll refer to that as ERP here on out, between the County of Kern and the Kern Law Enforcement Association. we'll call that KLEA, effective May 11th, 2026. The IRP agreement between the county and KLEA was entered into on December 10th, 2013, and became effective January 14th, 2014. This was a pilot project, and it's identified as such in the agreement. The purpose of the IRP agreement, among other reasons, was to provide active employees claiming compensable injuries under the Labor Code with an expedited procedure to resolve disputes in accordance with the IRP agreement and to facilitate those employees' prompt return to work. On April 10th, 2026, following a meet and confer process with Kern and KLEA, the county served KLEA with a 30-day notice to terminate the IRP agreement for good cause to be effective May 11th, 2026. The process to terminate was simply to provide 30 days written notice, which is what we did. The IRP agreement further provides any claim arising from the industrial injury sustained before the termination of the agreement shall continue to be covered by the terms of this agreement until all medical issues related to the pending claim are resolved. So terminating the IRP agreement does not necessarily terminate that program for those that are already in it. It will continue until it phases out. There will be no new ones added into it. Good cause exists for the termination of the IRP agreement and that substantial changes have been made to the governing statutes addressing workers' compensation by the state legislature and have made the continued existence of the IRP obsolete. There's no longer a need to maintain an independent list of doctors to evaluate disputes that arise on workers' compensation claims. Further, risk management has adopted a very broad approved plan effective January 25th, 2018 for prior authorization of medical treatment to minimize disputes in workers' compensation claims. This will remain in effect notwithstanding dissolution of the IRP program. In 2014, the County of Kern entered into an identical program with the Kern County Firefighters Union. The IRP agreement with the Kern County Firefighters Union ended on July 1st, 2023 by mutual agreement. County Council and Risk Management have noticed substantial improvements in the workers' compensation program with the Kern County Firefighters Union claims since the termination. And these same improvements are expected for the Kern law enforcement claims. The recommendation to terminate the KLEA IRP agreement comes from the county, and with me today I have our risk manager who can answer further questions. She's a true expert in this area, and also with me is our workers' compensation attorney, Puya Hajibagari. I hope I said his name correctly, and he can also answer some questions. So our recommendation is to terminate, to approve the termination that's already gone into effect, and we wanted to have that ratified by your board. So we're recommending that you retroactively approve the termination of the Labor Management Workers' Compensation Expedited Resolution Process Agreement between the county and Kern Law Enforcement Association effective May 11, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the board before we go to the public? Okay, not seeing any. We'll go to the public for comments.
Not that tall. Hey, Mr. Chairman. Gave my comments earlier, Mr. Chairman and board, to you guys, just to kind of hit on a couple of the points that were brought up. It is a pilot project. It was a pilot project. We'll acknowledge that. However, we, after conferring with our council, every place that's adopted the pilot project has kept it because of cost savings. We sent, numerous studies showing that, which we received no reply on those studies, which had there been some, hey, we're doing it because it's saving money, we're common sense, we're a logical association that makes sense, money speaks, we understand that, but that was not done. Just once again, we're just looking for an answer of why is this change being implemented when it doesn't save money from our perspective and it doesn't take care of the employees of Kern County and specifically our members in this instance. Just looking for a common sense answer that wasn't really given. Good causes stated, but we're kind of referred to, and I understand there's a lot of anonymous information within workman's comp, and it's a whole field of legal jargon I don't entirely understand. However, You know, there should be the simple fact of this is X, Y, Z, Y, not just claiming good cause or some vague and big thing that we can't boil to. We like to make things simple at the KLEA, you know, simple terms, simple explanations, and we don't see that. So I don't have no further comments and defer to the wisdom of your board. Thank you.
Fair enough. Well, thanks for being here through this unexpectedly lengthy morning meeting till we get to this one. But are there any additional comments? I see Supervisor Perez has
Thank you.
buzzed in.
I just wanted to ask you, is it your position that it's in the best interest of your people just that nothing be done here? Is that the simple solution?
Best interest to our people and to the county, in our opinion, as far as a cost savings measure.
And nothing needs to be done. It does not need to be fixed.
Correct.
Okay.
Our ask would be that it just gets looked at better.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Perez. Supervisor Couch.
Here's my request of county council. Because it's my understanding, the department, meaning the sheriff's office, and you, this is your item, right? Can you, it's funny that Mr. Cruz just mentioned pilot program, which is you were referring to the program that's currently in place. It was started that way as a pilot program, see how it works. There's been changes since then, as you mentioned, in state law, and so you don't see the need, and you think you can do as good a job, if not better, than what's currently in place. The firefighters have had that experience.
That's correct.
Okay.
And one of the distinctions between our county and other counties, and we're self-insured, we maintain our own workers' compensation unit, we have our own attorneys, we don't outsource. So that makes a difference in the costs as well. So the numbers that are provided from costs on another county may not be the same as the numbers that reflect our county.
What it sounds like to me is, well, here's my suggestion, if you can do this. Can you view the termination of this agreement and the new system as a pilot program? I have two requests. I think there needs to be some communication with KLEA about the why. Because that's basically what you just said. Why is this being done? You'd like a clear answer, whether it's money, and I think it's going to be process, which equates to some money. But I'll let you guys have that discussion in the next, sorry.
We did engage in the meet and confer process, and the whys were provided, and the reasons are not just monetary. There are numerous reasons for the termination of it that it's not all about the money.
Well, okay, so maybe there needs to be a renewed communication effort. But can we refer to this new process as a pilot program where you're good, maybe meet and confer again in a year and review how did it work out for the employees and for you and the department?
I understand your question as it relates to KLEA, but it's really not a new process. This is a process we use with every other employee in the county except for KLEA.
It'll be new for them, though.
It'll be new for KLEA, yes.
So after that year, May of next year, you can sit down with them, with KLEA, and say, or they can say, here's our experience, what we liked, what we didn't like. You can do the same. At least have that discussion.
Yes, we can do that in a year.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor. Any other questions or comments from the board? Supervisor Parlier.
Quick question for Mike. Is that something that you'd be amenable to? Yeah, come on up, please. Well, I would say it's just, I don't know about negotiation. I don't know either. Yeah, let's get county council involved. Okay.
I'm sorry, what is the question for me?
Well, Supervisor Perez said, does it act like negotiation? But I think all they're asking is just for clarification and meet with staff. And that's what I'm asking, is just to meet with staff and maybe get some further clarification.
We're happy to continue further meetings. Like I said, we did engage in a thorough meet and confer process with them, but we're happy to continue meeting with them. But our ask is just that we go ahead and, in effect, we've already terminated. We're asking for your ratification, but we'll continue to engage with CLIA and answer any questions they have.
Okay, thank you so much.
Does that, I'm not sure, it's kind of a unique situation, so, yeah. Supervisor Flores, we'll ask Supervisor Flores first. Thank you, Mike, appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for the AM 37 cover letter. So I know this is ratification, and I know you've already done this in the meet and confer. And you stated that fire departments already done this, and their state protections in the California Labor's Code. But what I don't see is what's the rationale for me or the board as to why, what are the pros and cons of going to this new direction? I need to see some policy arguments or fiscal arguments or something.
Okay.
Other than fire's done it and there's state protections, I think it needs a little bit more robust treatment. And I don't know if this is part of Supervisor Couch's go discuss and bring it back, or where we're at exactly.
I'm going to turn it over to our risk manager, Lisa Dearmore, who's been working in this program for quite some time and understands it the best, and perhaps she can answer some of those questions for you.
Because I've got one party saying there's no fiscal savings, and I've got you saying there's state protections and fire's done it. That's not enough for me. I need something more.
Thank you. So again, as your risk manager, I wanted to express that there was an intent and there was a purpose when this agreement was originally entered with the county. Back in 2014, there was delays in care. The system was not the way that it is currently today. There have been, over the last 12 years, significant legislative changes within the statutory regulatory system of workers' compensation that has improved the system, and it has become more efficient and more, timely to be able to address disputes that may exist. One thing that I think it is important to understand is that this ARP program that we call, really all it is another resolution to resolve disputes. So medical care, medical treatment, how medical treatment is provided, the benefits that are administered, the timeliness of those benefits that are administered are all regulated within the workers' compensation system. Those have not changed. From 2014 to today, those remain the same and will continue to remain the same, not only for our KLEA members, but for all other county employees that work for the county and happens to sustain an industrial injury. So truly, this is a view for when it comes to how will we resolve a dispute that may exist within a workers' compensation claim, whether that be the dispute, whether it's either determined to be an industrial injury or disputes that may arise throughout the course of the claim.
That's what the current IRP agreement
That is
does?
what the current IRP program does. Now, our current workers' compensation system has evolved to the point where it has always found a way to resolve these disputes. It's just it was not done in a very timely fashion back in 2013 when discussions first were being had with us. 2014 when it was implemented, both as we mentioned for KLEA as well as for our firefighters union. So the changes have been substantive in the legislature that have made these changes. So things that once used to take possibly 6 months to a year to get resolved now truly can be resolved either within days, depending on the dispute, or within a few weeks or a couple of months, depending on how severe the dispute may be, right? So we're not asking necessarily to eliminate this program to take something away. What we're saying is that the system has caught up with itself and has now become obsolete to continue to maintain a list of independent providers who are basically evaluating a dispute that may arise. That the state already has a very robust listing of qualified medical evaluators who have to actually go through a very rigorous certification process to be a qualified medical evaluator, who can resolve these exact same disputes that do every day for every other county employee that works for us. And the only distinction is this carve-out has a certain independent list of physicians who would handle these disputes. At the time it was needed, our goal, and I think that's important to understand, that the goal of the workers' compensation system is to ensure that our injured workers receive the medical care that they need, that is medically necessary to cure and relieve their industrial injury promptly. So the goal is for them to be able to return to their gainful employment with the county. And that was not happening with these extensive delays. That is now where we currently exist today.
So if we have two sets of protections, and if the state has evolved, like you said, and we have two now, the IRP and the state improvements, which one takes precedent in our current system?
So which one takes precedent for KLEA?
Yeah.
Currently, they're under the ERP program, where
Okay,
they
so
have the
you-
independent list of
I see.
physicians.
So even though there's the state improvements and
Yes.
we're still operating under ERP first.
We have been operating under ERP, and that is the whole reason why we engaged in these conversations, because we really don't feel that the system has a continuous need. It has now found itself to be obsolete, one could say, truly.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you Supervisor Flores. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, seeing none.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. So if the efficiencies are now here, what about the cost issues that have arisen?
And so that's an interesting topic regarding cost, right? Because I hear that it was expressed that one of the main reasons that we went to this program was to help with costs. Truly, the only cost saving that the county had when we entered into this agreement, from a true technical point, right, like where are we really saving dollars, was the list of these independent physicians had agreed to a contracted rate for their fees, right? And back in that day, it was kind of the wild, wild west, where physicians kind of charged what they felt was appropriate to be able to see and handle these disputes. And at the time, these physicians did provide us with a discounted rate, and that was very, very beneficial to the county. Again, as times have changed and things have evolved, in 2021, the state actually came up with a fee schedule for these medical evaluators. So now they actually have a set fee that they will charge, whether it is a first evaluation, whether there's a record review, or it is a supplemental evaluation. And that fee is across the board to everyone. So of course what happened was these independent physicians who were receiving less than what the fee schedule currently is for all of our qualified evaluators opposed that and said, no, we actually want to be paid at the same fee schedule that everybody else is getting paid, even though we are part of this agreement, and that was originally what we had established. Unfortunately for us, we were forced to have to abide by that and agree to it, because otherwise they would refuse to see our injured workers, or they would hold our reports hostage and not release them unless they got paid what they felt was appropriate for their service. So that cost saving really went away back in 2021. And at the end of the day, I understand, and my office fully understands and takes the responsibility seriously, that we are the stewards of the county's public funds, and we make every effort to ensure that we pay what we owe, which is why we do due diligent investigations, and we do take the time to determine if something is in fact industrially related. We do take the time to possibly dispute a medical opinion if we feel that it is inappropriate based on the medical evidence that's presented. But at the end of the day, changing from the ERP program that KLE currently has and moving to the robust standardized workers' compensation program that every other county employee, not to mention every other California employee has, is not as so much to have a cost saving at the expense of our KLEA injured workers. That is not really the intent or our goal, right? So the cost saving was eliminated back in 2021. Everything else, in my opinion, is equitable, if not better, within the current standard workers' compensation system. We in the county also, my office, we have created a very comprehensive pre-approved plan for authorization of treatment to help expedite care, so that way we avoid unnecessary delays when they may exist. We truly believe that if our injured worker receives the medical care that they need promptly and in a timely manner when the injury occurs, we can quickly return them back to work. The county has a robust return to work program that we completely, embody and we try to help and assist with, right? So the goal is, of course, receive the medical care that they need, provide them with that in a timely fashion, provide them with the medical benefits that they're entitled to, as well as any benefits for lost time from work that they may be entitled to, with the ultimate goal of having them return to gainful employment with the county. Unfortunately, some of the things that have resulted, which I think is an unintended consequence at times, is that we have seen that disruption occur. And since we're specifically speaking regarding KLEA, we have seen that disruption for the sheriff's office, where individuals have not been returned to work in a timely fashion despite the medical care that they've received. There have been, in certain instances...
Is that due to the ERP arrangement? What does that do to?
Yes.
How
Yes.
so?
And that could be because since they are the ones responsible for resolving all disputes, if there isn't, because again, the medical care is being provided by the primary treating physician that the Kern County has, that we have with our medical provider network. That's regardless if they're part of the IRP or not. So when their primary treating physician indicates that somebody is able to return to work, whether it be with modified restrictions or not, if there is a dispute, which that dispute can come from the injured worker, if they are part of the IRP program, that resolution is done through an independent physician through the IRP program. If it is done through the standardized workers' compensation program, that is going to be done through a state panel that is issued to the injured worker to be able to select a physician, because that's what they normally do, right? So they have an algorithm that provides a panel of 3 doctors. And in those 3 doctors, the injured worker has the right to say, I would like to strike this doctor, and I don't want to go to this physician. And then there's 2 doctors left. The county has the right to strike the other. Whomever is left is who will be the medical physician who will handle the dispute regarding that specific case. So in those instances, when we have an independent physician making a decision against our primary treating physician to say, no, this person can't go back to work, sometimes that doesn't always align with the medical that we are acknowledging and looking at in the file, which then in turn creates additional costs in litigation or disputes, because then we have to depose a doctor.
Got it. But how do you know it's going to align with the new way?
Well, it's not necessarily,
sometimes it doesn't
that's a
align.
dispute that could exist regardless, right?
Yeah.
We have just seen that to be more prominent in these carve-out case, or these, IRP cases.
But that's because we have only one system, so of course it's going to be the case.
Well, when we make that in comparison, for example, with our firefighters union that has been off of this system for the last 3 years, that has also shown to be the case. So if there is a dispute, it is resolved through the regular standardized QME process. And there's always going to be,
Yes, because they have a different system,
correct,
so there's going to be systemic differences.
that is correct. I mean, at the end of the day, if there is a dispute, that dispute is going to be based on the medical opinion of that physician who's going to see the individual.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. No, I agree. And that you've given me a lot of information. It's been very helpful. But even if we migrate to the new system, those disputes can still occur and will occur.
Absolutely. Yes, they can still occur.
Okay. Well, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
No, I was just sharing with you, those are some of the things that we have observed specifically from the carve-out. One of the other things that have happened, and of course can continue to happen even in the normal standardized workers' compensation system, is that, at times, these injured workers are imposed permanent restrictions that conflict with their workplace, and then they are unfortunately now found to be prematurely retired much at the dismay of that injured worker, right? And those are things that can happen even in the normal standardized system. The difference is that when we are within the normal system, we have our primary treating physician who renders the opinion. It will go to a QME, which is what they're referred to in the workers' compensation standardized system. And at that point in time, if there is a dispute, then we resolve it with that physician, just the same as we would with the independent physician listing that we have. The difference is that the listing that we have is very finite. And at times, we have received substandard reporting from these physicians. The difference with our qualified medical evaluators that are certified by the state of California is that they actually do go through a rigorous vetting process, which includes a written exam, includes report writing training to ensure that they're complying with what the labor code defines as a substantial medical report. So those are the main distinctions.
well, that's very helpful because those are a lot stronger arguments that you've closed with. So that helps me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Flores. Any other questions or comments from the board? Yeah,
we don't have a motion.
Oh, okay. Well,
Right.
yeah, if you want to make a motion. I
Am I
thought
right?
you had made one, but either way,
Maybe
if you want to re-clarify.
I didn't mean to if I did.
I thought you did. I don't know.
I'll move staff's recommendation with the understanding that there will be an analysis after a year with KLEA to understand their experience and your experience, and that will be shared with the group.
Understood.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second? Okay. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Yeah, so just in the nick of time before this AM meeting turns into a PM meeting, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.